There we go. All right, let me pull the chat up.
Pull up the chat! Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right.
Knit cap.
You guys let me know, I guess, before we get too far, if there's any echo or any other bullshit happening. Oh, sorry. I didn't even make it half a minute. Hello, everybody.
The transformation is almost complete.
I know. I just don't even have the patience now to filter that long.
The transformation is almost complete, Dylan.
All right, cool. Ben says audio's good.
Yeah.
Yes, good. No BS this time.
Sweet baby Jeebus.
Yes.
All right. Well, how's everybody doing?
Yeah, we'll let
We
everybody
missed
know.
last week, so here. Where do I got to move this way? This way.
Yeah.
So we missed last week. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was out, so.
Young Dylan here was out with
Some
swine
kind of flu.
flu.
Kind of shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Some kind of flu.
Yeah, he had cauliflower ear and Scottish flu.
Yeah.
So he was
Scottish swine flu.
He was fluked. So he was out for a couple weeks, but last week was just a cluster F of all sorts of things. So it just Thursday wasn't going to work,
Yes.
and it was just busy at the shop. I couldn't get out of there to come do the things, so
Yeah.
we missed it. But here we are. Dylan is back in action.
Yeah.
By 90%, right?
Yeah, it's ish. I feel pretty good, and then it seems like, I mean, if the stream's actually working this time with no grief, then I'll be pretty happy. Cause
Clearly, there's no anger coming through the fucking.
yeah,
screen.
not right now. Yeah, I don't know if I have the energy to be angry. Well, I do, but yeah.
There's no anger. Yeah, well, yeah.
There's no cap on my anger. But
There's no anger due to streaming coming through. So, those of you that are new here, this is a weekly question and answer show.
Yes.
You ask us a question, we answer it. There's varied backgrounds of things happening. We're going to test some pedals today too, because it seems like people like that stuff. So.
Yeah, it's been going pretty good. We're kind of just, I'm going to continue with the, basically anything in the shop that I think people should be paying attention to, or if anything that the guys feel like should be getting more attention. That's what we're going to try to do. Because, I don't know, it just seems like a lot of pedals are, there's always like a top 10, top 25 that are always just floating out there. And I feel like there's so many other good manufacturers that it's worth exploring. And sometimes too, like RYRA would be a case. When we get into them, I'll explain more. But RYRA is one where they make really good stuff, and people pretty much only know them for like one thing.
The one thing.
And that's it.
Yeah,
So,
but that, where's the fuzz?
oh yeah, the Fuzz-O-Matic,
that's a cool pedal.
the triangle fuzz they do, and then they also have a really great 808. So yeah, we'll get into all of those in a little bit. But
Yeah. So we're going to do all that stuff, and then I think next week we might start doing, we might have a little bit more
more variety. Yeah, we're gonna.
stuff. We still may modify the what the fact,
Yeah.
but we're going to also, I think, we're going to start next week doing some stuff. Don't know yet. Also, if you're not signed up for our newsletter, go to the website. It's right there. You saw it. Right there.
Yeah, the website.
Go to the bottom, scroll, sign up for the newsletter. We'll probably going to get that started next week.
Yeah.
Again, we've sent out like,
Well, yeah.
3, 4, and 7
Yeah, we
or 8
barely
years.
use that, but yeah, we will actually start.
That's gonna be a
utilizing
thing.
That a little more this year, and then the other thing is too, if you guys aren't subscribed, feel free, especially not only on YouTube but on Instagram too, because if you guys ever want to see what's coming in the shop, like the quickest, usually Instagram is a good window into what's going on.
So Doug's
got a question?
Santin Yellow's got a question for
All
you.
right, Doug is asking, someone tell me what order and what type of pedals should be on your board for classic rock. That is a very open-ended question, just because, like, for me, like, classic rock does encompass quite a few bands. I would definitely say, if the amp is not an issue, well, it depends. If you're starting with a clean platform, obviously, a classic overdrive of some kind is gonna definitely be suited, or even like a preamp that's based on a classic amp. I would certainly start there if you're just starting on a clean platform. If the amp doesn't factor into it, then I would say I usually prioritize any effects that your board doesn't already have, any effects that your amp doesn't already have. So like a lot of amps already have reverb. Every once in a while, some amps, will have like, a few effects in them depending on what amp you're using. But wah is going to be one for classic rock stuff, especially if you're into, Hendrix or Robin Trower, any of those classic guys. Univibe would be, I kind of think Univibe, Phaser, something in that vein, I think is a kind of a must.
Ooh, I dialed in a really cool thing. So I picked up one of those little Yamaha deals, and it's got the phaser in it.
Mm-hmm.
Little gain, clean, but it's got
Just a hint of
it's
phaser,
got echo verb, but it's got a phaser. And it's like, oh, let me just get a wee touch.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think it goes.
then I was like, I gotta take this from the. This is just
take that out of it.
I
Yeah.
go, I gotta take this and now put it on a board because that phaser it was just a nice slow
It just gives
motion,
you movement.
but it added something that the amp didn't already give. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to do this on my real board.
Yes.
Anyway, that's
Well, no, but that is I think for like classic rock, especially if you're into Zeppelin or Thin Lizzy or anything like that. Like I think Phaser, Flanger, those are all going to be pretty fun. Depending, and honestly, take your pick because I think depending on the way you use a flange, it can be used very tastefully. I think a lot of people think of Boss and only Boss. And there's like a lot of other good flangers out there, so I would definitely say that. And then it looks like Brad mentioned like an LPD 74 for classic rock. So yeah, that kind of goes.
That's a great pedal for that.
And that kind of goes to what we were saying in terms of like if your amp is just a clean platform, you definitely want to get something that's kind of based on like an old school Marshall, which is what the LPD is based on. Or if you're into old school like Neil Young stuff, you want something like a Tweed Deluxe. If you're into it depends. These days you can get almost anything. I mean, if you're into Sabbath, you can get, Laney style preamps, and yeah, there's a million ways to go with that. But I would definitely choose like a more classic sounding overdrive. And then, like I said, any effects that your amp doesn't do. So like echo, wah, chorus, flange. Those are generally all things that your amp will not do. So I definitely always do those.
And Doug, if you were interested in putting a board together, but not exactly sure what you want, if you give us a tone or an idea of what you want, classic rock covers a lot of ground, and give us a budget, we could always put something together, something for you, and say, hey, Doug, this is what we would do. This is what this is what it would be, and this is about where you would have to be as far as dollar-wise to kind of get yourself there. We could help you with that. If you're like, hey, I can't spend more than $800.
Yeah,
But I
we
need
could
all
certainly.
these
Yeah,
things.
that'll help us. If you give us a budget, that'll help us kind of rein in the options, and then because I mean that's about 80% of what we do at the shop is basically somebody's kind of tone hunting, and we go on mini scavenger hunts trying to figure out what we can get that'll get them that tone in the budget that they have. So if there's anything you want with help, or any help that you need with that stuff, just let us know.
Yeah. So who's here?
And if we keep looking down here, we're just looking at the chat just so everybody knows.
Yeah, I can't quite see.
Ben's in there. Charles is in there. Hey,
Can we expand that? Does it make it bigger, or is it just?
No, it's
it just makes the window bigger. It doesn't make the actual.
No, that's why eventually when we get that cable, I'm gonna just try to have the chat. On
Oh yeah,
that screen.
I was gonna order that, and then I had and then I AD'd
And then the week
fuck
happened.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna do it. Remember? Hey, what
No, I
is
did
that?
it last Thursday.
Yeah, I was gonna get it, and then everything went to shit, and I totally forgot to get it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like Jeffrey Egan's in there. Paul McNary's in there. Hey guys, just kind of letting everybody get in. Oh, Jacob and the Ghost is in there. Hey Jacob.
Hey, what's happening?
Jacob, for anybody who is local to Denver, if you follow like his Instagram stuff, he does some really cool like ambient stuff. So if you guys are into any of that, give his like Instagram a follow because he does some really cool ambient stuff. Is Terry in there? Oh yeah, Terry. Cool. Hey Terry, how's it going, man? Guitar Man 45. I feel like I should know that right off, but I don't. Oh, what are you doing?
I was just like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at over there. Since everything's
Oh.
backwards, I'm trying to look at this.
The mic. Oh yeah.
I just go.
No, they don't mind. I don't give a shit. We need to.
I know, but I wanted it right here so then I could see. All right, we're good.
Oh, can you not see past it?
No, I'm good.
Oh. Are you shrinking? No, I'm just kidding.
I might be getting old, I need my calcium.
Grab me my calcium tablets.
Give me my magnesium tablets.
All right.
That's cocaine.
And actually, that's a good
cocaine.
That's a good point. Alan Aldridge just put out a comment saying, making a video about building Doug's board. We could
could
definitely
do that.
Yeah,
Doug
Yeah,
wanted
if
to
Doug
do
is
that.
up for that, yeah, we could certainly do that. All right. Well, like I said, sorry if I'm missing anybody. We will go ahead before it gets too much later. I'll do the intro for RYRA and just kind of tell you guys what we're doing for the episode. And yeah, if there's anything you guys want to know about, just let me know. So essentially, for anybody who doesn't know, RYRA effects, they're out of Texas. I should know the town, and I don't right off. But
Texas is small enough.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
Just drive around.
It's the size of like several small countries.
Yeah, just drive around Texas until you see the sign that says RYRA.
Yeah, so RYRA stands for Rock Your Repaired Amp. So he actually used to be an amp tech that did a lot of repair work, and he ended up making basically a clone of the KLONE, which everybody really loves, but in particular, his is known to be pretty much dead on. And I mean, we have customers that do have actual KLONs that have come in and bought his specifically because of how accurate it does seem to be. Yeah, Eddie Turner
is prime example. Eddie's been playing for 50 years.
Yeah,
a very long time.
Yeah, he owns 2 original KLONs from like when they were in the magazine ads. So like he was a pre-hype KLON guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eddie's a cool dude, killer player. Check him out if you want online. I'm sure there's videos of him out there. But Eddie's got one because that's the one he thought was
the closest. So yeah.
Did he talk to him recently?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know he popped in the store and was like, Dylan, I got to ask Dylan a question. I go,
oh, yeah.
Can I answer the question? He goes, I don't know. And he said, I go, yeah, you got it. Dylan will be here tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
It was something that I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had something that went beyond
the normal
the
stuff.
normal stuff. And I was like, yeah, that falls into Dylan's category because it's more convoluted than I get into with some of this stuff. So
yeah. So RYRA, and unfortunately, actually, because it sells so well, we don't actually have the KLONE, which he calls the KLONE. So that's why we're doing basically 3 of their effects that are, I think, really, really good that people don't really pay attention to. Now, granted, like the 808 that he does is obviously a Tube Screamer clone, but if you're trying to get an 808 and you don't want to spend the full reissue money, I think this one is awesome, and it's in a normal enclosure too, which is why a lot of people love it. It's not, not that there's anything wrong with the Ibanez enclosure, but it's kind of nice if you're a top jack pedal board kind of guy. I feel like his is a more pedal board friendly version of the 808. But essentially RYRA does, several different effects, but everybody just knows the KLONE. So we'll go ahead and get into that. And speaking of the 808, that'll be the first one.
One last thing.
Yep.
So going along with the RYRA stuff, so he does also make a really cool 5E3 clone, which the 5E3 is a Blues Deluxe, for those of you guys that don't know, and it sounds killer. We had one, we sold it, but it was a killer sounding amp.
Yeah, we didn't have that one long for what it was. Like
you plugged into it and you're like, shit.
It speaks for itself for sure. All right, so let me turn the pedal
First,
cam on.
my clean tone.
Yeah, speaking of which, actually, did you turn the pedal off? Like the 808?
I can't tell. Oh.
Okay, so
it's off. It's got a hardy switch there, bud.
It does have a hardy switch.
Hey, you got the hardy switch there, bud, eh?
Just so everybody knows, because I think everybody asks, and I think Jeffrey Egan is always nice to point out when I forget to, whenever I forget to actually do the signal chain. Well, nothing's going yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can't we can't do both.
Yes. Yes.
So right now we basically, nothing else is on other than the Iridium from Strymon, and the Strymon is essentially set to do a mid-60s deluxe reverb, just dead clean. And then, like I said, once we add the pedal in, that way you guys get an idea of what the pedal's doing versus, an amalgam of effects. So right now it's just the Strat. And actually, we should talk about the Strat too before we roll in. This one is my particular one, but we do have these on sale over at the shop right now. It's the Ventera. It's their 50s reissue.
It's very nice.
Yeah, it's really sweet, especially if you love like the soft V neck and a thicker, bigger neck on a Strat. Like this one is
like a soft V instead of a hard D.
Yeah, exactly.
This might be a guitar for you.
Yeah, or a mean C, I guess.
Yeah, this might be the one for you.
Yeah. But anyway, it's pretty great. So I ended up bringing that one just because we actually do have one over on the floor at the shop, and I think for the money, that Strat is pretty awesome if you're into the 50 style one. So
Yeah, the neck is killer on this thing, by the way.
yeah,
Every time I play it, I'm like, oh yeah.
yes. I'm gonna go ahead and put the pedal cam on, and then we'll switch the audio over, and you guys let me know how it sounds. All right, pedal cam on.
Cam on.
Okay, so we got a few questions in there. Jeff was asking which pedal this is. So this is the RYRA 808 for anybody that's just joining the stream. Like I said, kind of did a small intro about what where RYRA is from. They're basically based out of Texas, and they do several different effects, but they're most known for their KLONE. So like today, like I said previously, we're just going to go through the rest of their, well, not the rest of their catalog, but at least a few of their other pedals that people tend to kind of overlook. And then, yeah, it looks like everybody was saying the guitar audio was solid, so.
The guitar playing, we need
You know, that's a good question. So nothing here is asking what chip this one was running on for the 808, so that is a good question. Let me go ahead and try to get to the bottom of that while Ike goes ahead and, oh yeah, sorry. So Jeff is asking if it's an 808 like a Tube Screamer. So yes, it is based on the Tube Screamer 808, which is, or the Ibanez Tube Screamer 808, which is the older one, but oh, nothing here says he was joking. Honestly though, dude, you know,
you'd be surprised
like, yeah.
the questions we get. Did we have the guy, was it last week, that asked about if we could open up the thing to find the resistance, if it was marked?
Oh yeah, he wanted to know the resistance of the capacitors and resistors that were on a particular fuzz that we had come in, and we're like, dude, yeah, like
no idea,
yeah, we
bro.
can look at the transistors, but once you get into like measuring component tolerances, like shit, we're that's too much.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah, it either sounds good or it doesn't.
It's above my pay grade.
Yeah. But yeah, so based on a Tube Screamer 808 classic. I mean, you know, I think most people these days obviously still associate, you know, Stevie Ray with kind of popularizing the Tube Screamer. Most of the time, and that's why we're running it specifically into the Fender right now, is most of the time when I think Tube Screamers, I always think of what they were originally meant to do, which is kind of add more mid-range back to like the classic Silverface amps that have an inherent scoop to the mid-range. So they're usually really, really good if you have an amp that's a little dark. They're really good for kind of cutting back through with some mid-range. So yeah, Ike will go ahead and play real quick, and then we'll switch over maybe in a couple minutes. That way we can get to some of the other.
What factory was the chip made?
Made it, yeah. The
Oh,
Mama factory and yeah. All right, so yeah, switch back over, and Ike will do some more demo-y bits for you guys real quick. Alright, so it looks like Alan is asking about what Strat that is again. So that is the 50s Ventera. So it's basically their reissue within the Made in Mexico series. It's their reissue of like the 57 Strat. So if you guys are familiar with like the classic soft V maple neck, like classic Daphne blue, that's basically what this one's going for, is like the original like 57 Strat that had. Honestly, I don't know why. Like I feel like that neck is undervalued, and all of the
This neck feels great.
Yeah.
I just can't. So sorry about the shitty playing. I'm rusty and I can't remember shit. So
Well, that's okay. I was just saying, I don't know if I don't think I'd be any better today. I'm still kind of foggy.
well, I just got to bring one of my guitars and leave it here.
Well,
So to
there's
only do that, I'm playing one of my guitars instead of always playing something different. Because then it feels a little more comfortable. Number one.
Well, there's that. I was mainly doing that.
And I know
we
the
have one on
tones
the
I get out of
floor.
that guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I play the Greco, then I know what knobs to twiddle
Sure.
that I want.
Yeah.
And then everything feels good. Not saying I'm not making excuses, but I'm making excuses.
Okay, so nothing here is asking if it is basically a clone of the OG 808 or if it's a modified take on an 808. As far as I know, most of the time, like whenever he does anything, he generally tries to kind of clone it to the T. So I think Tube Screamer, to the T.
To the T.
But yeah, it's as far as I know, it's going for as accurate as he can get with the parts that are more adequately available to him. Because that is one thing, especially when it comes to Tube Screamers, and I know obviously nothing was joking about the chips, but there are people that obviously still get into that whole debate, and that is definitely. I mean, it's you're talking about like a 5%, if that, difference. I feel like a lot of times, like something like this is a great option if again, like I said, if you want something that fits on a normal pedal board, doesn't have the side jacks, and I mean, I just feel like it's a great option if you're into the 808 circuit and you don't want to pay like the full reissue pricing, because even like the Ibanez reissue is spendy. So
Yeah. Well, what I like about this too is like this doesn't sound bad, but I mean, I think it sounds better when you're putting it into an amp that's just ready to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could
You know,
we could
right
switch
when it's
over to
ready
like a
to
Marshall.
go. Yeah, when it's ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, break up heavier. That's where I think this thing really shines. Not that it's not bad. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I like it a little bit more saturated.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more.
Well,
left
that
in
and
the
these
drive
pickups
here,
too, just because everybody
These are
knows.
vintage-y,
Yeah, they
so-
are vintage, so they're pulled back, and that's actually why I love this guitar, is because it lets me actually turn shit up for once, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, Drill's in the house. What's happening,
hey,
man?
hey, how's it going, Darrell? But yeah, so actually, yeah, if you guys want to hear before we switch, I'll go ahead and put it on more of a Marshall kind of setting, and we can switch over to it real quick.
So hold on. Let's switch over. Let's dime the drive. Just see what that sounds like, and then we'll switch over to the Marshall and roll back the drive.
Is that not already timed?
No, it's at like.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna dime it, and then we'll switch. So
Yeah.
go ahead and dime it then. Then we'll switch.
Dime.
Okay, so that was basically still going into the 65 deluxe reverb setting. I'll go ahead and dial in like a Marshall kind of tone, and then we'll go from there. And then that way you guys can hear it kind of going into something that's a little crunchier already.
Oh,
I won't invite that kind of.
that kind of nonsense.
Let's see. We go to my normal favorite setting and then just turn the drive down.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so what's got going on here? No trim. No trim. It's got a trim.
I can get the bar.
Spitting. There's a trim. Yeah, we don't need it.
No, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it does have it, but
It does have it, Doug. So there's a trim. I just don't.
I generally use it. I just know that Ike doesn't, so I didn't.
I don't.
Put it
Yeah,
on.
I don't. Well, when I do that, I'm like.
Well, I know. I just generally.
And then I'm all out of tune, like last week.
Oh,
and I was like,
yeah.
oh fuck, and I'm like, I know I heard it, and then I heard it even worse when I went.
Well, it's
home and
always
watched
it's the
stream.
pullback that we
I'm like,
got to remember.
yeah.
Where'd my water go? There it is.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, Janice, what's happening?
So, oh yeah, I don't know if we fully dimed the volume. I think that was really just a diming of the
Yeah, we dimed
drive.
we dimed the drive, not dime the game.
Yeah, we don't want to completely clip it.
Yeah, because otherwise you guys would be
Yeah.
farked.
But yeah, so now I can play a little bit on the kind of dirty Marshall setting, and then we'll kick on the drive, and then we'll probably switch pedals after that. That sounds good.
I think I'm warming up a little bit.
There we go. So yeah, that was going into more of a basically a mid-70s Marshall, or at least that's what the Iridium is set to, and that does
That
sound,
gets me more to where I like to be.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, the kind of pedal that you leave on 10. Yeah, it is kind of, like Jeff was saying, that it's the kind of pedal you leave on 10. And yeah, I would agree.
That's where the
like,
drive is. I mean,
yeah, it's almost easier to just, especially when you rolled the volume back, it did a little bit better of just dialing that and then use your volume to contour from there. But yeah, we'll go ahead and switch over now. So now we're going to switch over to his Fuzzomatic. Here, I don't know if it'll focus. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that's the Fuzzomatic. As far as I know, this is it's in the fuzz face family, but from what I understood, and I was trying to look up the information, but I didn't find initially what I was looking for. But I believe this one's going for a classic, and I can't remember the name of the company, but it was an Italian company that was making like they were making wahs, they were making a lot of, and I'm sure somebody in the chat will put it out there. But they were making like wah pedals and different drives and filters back in the like 60s and 70s, and they kind of had their take on a fuzz face at the time. So I believe that's what this guy is going for. So Ike's gonna plug that in real quick, and we'll give that one a go. I kind of think Marshall setting again too might be that way you have a little bit of something a little softer for it to hit. But all right, is everybody in there? Yeah. Here we go. Okay. This is another one that's probably going to sound better dimed. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead and show you guys, the tone that we're on without the pedal, and then Ike will click it on, and we'll go from there. Alright, so Ricky Compton was saying the tone bender from the 60s. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't believe the tone bender was Italian, but I could be wrong on that one. Like I said, I believe the company, because it was the original company that was making the phasal inductors for like all the original Thomas Organ Company and Vox was. So it was that company, via like Dallas Arbiter. So I mean, it might have made its way into what became the Tone Benders. But like I said, specifically, I thought this one was a reference to like I said, it was a vintage Italian company that was essentially making parts for other companies at the time, and they started making their own pedals that had a few of them in there.
What is Darrell saying?
He says you have a pretty good playing from the dude with the catcher mitt hands. Oh, hand. Okay. Because at first I thought he was talking about your hat for a second.
I'm like,
no,
what? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can't read it because it's like I get a few words, but it's blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I look and I go, geez, man, giant hands.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing here was saying he thought it was Jen. So yeah. Yeah. I was just saying I'll have to look at it. I should have been a little more prepared, but like I said, it was an Italian company that was making a lot of those phasal inductors for like the old WAs, and then they started making like different fuzz face clones. Eventually, they made different Rangemaster clones, and like I think they even made a really, if I remember right, it was the preamp, and I think Frederick might actually make a clone of it. It was like the old Regent preamp, which had kind of made its way from that company again up to England and kind of made its way through the circuit in like the late '60s. So. Anyway, I was gonna say that sounded pretty good. I guess we could go ahead and dime the fuzz on that, and just that way at least you guys have an idea of what that's doing, and then we'll go ahead and switch over to the last one, and that's about 4:43. So yeah. All right. So yeah, I dimed the fuzz over there, and then just so you guys can see, because I believe he does actually use NOS germanium transistors in those. So I can do the whole, roll the volume back, clean tone, and then roll it forward, so you guys kind of hear that. Sweet. So hopefully that was coming through on the speakers. We were just kind of chatting for a second. It sounded cool because at least in here, it sounds kind of overdrivey on the high strings, and then fuzzy on the low strings. So that was actually kind of a cool sound. So
I dug it.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
What we got in here?
Yeah. Yeah. So Ricky. Yeah. So hopefully it looks like nothing here might have figured out the company, which was Jen. Like I said, I'll have to look into it a bit more and refresh my memory, because it's been like we've been carrying RYRA for years, so it's been, I think that was like the last time I even looked that up. But
Ricky's like, yeah, the way to break in speakers.
Oh yeah, it actually, fuzzes are pretty damn good for that, especially the Demogorgon. That'd be a thrasher. Yeah.
Shake the shit out of that thing.
Sweet. So
shake the shit out of it.
Before we end, this one will be a pretty quick one because it's just more in the Big Muff family, but I still think it's worth showing. All right, so RYRA also does their, it's kind of funny enough, it's kind of similar to the Demogorgon in a weird way. So the Demogorgon from Stomp Underfoot, which is our exclusive with them, is kind of a hybrid of the Triumph and the Green Russian. So essentially that's what RYRA ended up doing, which is kind of their own version of a Triumph / Green Russian hybrid. So this one, if you're looking for like a nice higher gain big muff with a bit more huevos, this one's pretty good. Yeah.
Huevos, rancheros, huevos, rancheros.
All right, and then we'll probably just do this one for a few minutes, and we'll kind of talk out the last few minutes. And if you guys have any questions too, obviously feel free to throw them in the chat.
Is that centered enough?
I think it's good enough that people can see what the controls are. All right. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the audio. So again, this one is the RYRA, basically calling it the Triumph. So it's in that kind of triangle / Green Russian family. All right, we'll switch over. So yeah, at least according to the chat, looks like you guys liked that one a little bit better. Jeff and Metalhead were both kind of commenting on it. Yeah, that one, at least in here, had a little more, I'd say a little more versatility. The other one definitely hit more of that classic sound.
A little more.
Yeah.
Huevas?
little chunkier, little hairier too, which is
Yeah.
interesting for a big muff because big muffs, in a weird way, I feel like they tend to a lot of them smooth out before they get crispy like that, and that one was actually getting pretty crunchy. So
Yeah, I kind of like that. Well, I wonder if it's the pickup combination too. I wonder if it's different if you have a pickup that's driving the pedal.
Well, I was just gonna say because we're having to actually turn the pedal up a bit more with this guitar, which is part of why I love that guitar because it's like you do get to actually hear what your fuzzes and your transistor overdrives are actually doing. You don't have to always.
This thing
the
sounds-
pickups aren't always screaming.
Yeah, because this thing sounds good just on its own too.
Yeah.
Like the guitar itself sounds.
Yeah. Well, it's what I've always loved about that guitar too is it's kind of loud even acoustically, because you guys can probably even hear Ike just playing that without any of the amp stuff going on. But yeah, I guess any closing questions you guys had or any?
You know what I can also hear?
Oh, is it fretting up? Yeah. Well, it's got that vintage radius. I feel like I don't notice that much though, because I can't say I notice it on any of the other strings.
You don't do.
Not as much, no. No, I'd be bending the G and B more than I would the high E.
It almost sounds.
Anyway.
Whatever is this? Where are we? We're almost done.
we're
here.
kinda
All right, you guys got
crossing
any? Yeah, you guys got any questions about the guitar, the pedals, any of that shit?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that, but
No, it's good. It's not like it doesn't get dinged at the house sometimes. So Jeff is asking if it is 7 1/4. Yeah, that one is vintage radius, so it is 7 1/4. And
which is
honestly,
weird
even
for me to get rid. Like I'm not used to it because none of my guitars have 7 1/4.
Well, I was gonna say for me, what I love about that, and it's like it is far less fatiguing if you're doing chords because it kind of follows the natural kind of curve of your hands. But yeah, like Ike said, obviously if you're bending 2 steps up on the high E, it might fret out here and there. But yeah, we currently, and I think we finally actually do have the blue one back in stock because for the longest time we were only able to get the it wasn't really even seafoam. It was kind of like a darker seafoam, but it was in that seafoam family, I guess. I just thought that one was oddly dark.
The old Chevy.
Yeah, it was almost like exactly. It wasn't quite seafoam green, whereas the Daphne blue, because I feel like this one's dead on for what the old one looked like in terms of.
Yeah, this is Daphne.
Yeah, it hits the Daphne.
For sure.
Perfect. Yeah, it's not like sky blue or anything.
Or Sonic, which is
Right,
closer
right.
to white than
Right.
blue. But I like Sonic blue. My or my S500's a Sonic blue, and it's considerably light.
Yeah.
But I love
Well, and
that.
what's nice too with the Venteras is they reworked the tuners. So even though they look vintage, they are reworked in terms of the gear ratio. So those have, so far, in terms of any Strat I've played, those have been some of the most stable tuners I've ever had when it comes to. Especially if we did have the bar on there, it actually does stay in tune remarkably well for doing that.
I like the old school bend.
I kind of like doing that too.
Sticking it in the hole.
Yeah, I like that too.
I mean, I kind of.
I like it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's
Personally,
kind
but
of. It is weird, yeah, because
if it's not a string through locking, this I think is just it's easy.
it is easy and it's nice because you always have that anchor point. So if you're trying to knock out a string change real quick, it's fast.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to mess with getting the winding straight so you can get the string through. But yeah, it doesn't look like we really have any more questions. We are getting to the last few minutes, so
So hit the like button.
Yeah, and I was gonna say here, I'll go ahead and kill the pedal cam so we don't miss Ike's face anymore. Oops.
I don't miss.
Oh, that was the
face.
OBS one, but nobody can see that one anyway.
I don't miss my face.
Yeah, and then I'll let Ike do the normal outro plug. Obviously, thank you guys for watching. Sorry we missed last week, but I'm gonna say this one is a success because luckily we didn't have any random echoing. We didn't have any shit feedback with the mics or anything. So, yeah. So I think it was pretty fun tonight. Oh, there, Ben's back. Hey, Ben.
All right, so if you're still here, go check out Texas Toast Guitars. They're doing our live stream next over at the Texas Toast channel. And then after that, go check out Dylan Talks Tone, and he'll be talking some kind of tone stuff.
Yes.
So do that. Hit the like button. We'd appreciate it. That always helps us out. You know, oh, Ben said he's lurking the whole show.
Yeah, he probably
So-
just had us on. Where his like
Background bullshit.
Background, yeah. He's working on some shit.
Background
and we're
American
just-
bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's it for us. I'll play a couple seconds worth of stuff, and we'll cruise out of here.
Oh, and there's Dale at the end. Yep, Dale's almost
Dale
always,
always
he's
seems
always
to
nails it right at
slide,
the end. Yeah,
seems to slide right in.
he's good at
I think
that.
he waits until I do the last bit.
maybe yeah,
And then
because
he's
he
like-
almost always comes in on that. Yeah,
Yeah, last few times.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
yeah, but yeah. Thanks for watching, and anybody who caught this after or who's just joining, even though we're almost over.
Oh, Metalhead Hippie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hey,
What's up,
what
bud?
We basically just went through 3 pedals from RYRA, which is like a small builder out of Texas, rock your repaired amp, and we basically went through the Tri-Muff, the Fuzzomatic, and the 808, which are all of their like other offerings other than the KLONE that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we'll let Ike play us out, and
I'll do a little ditty.
yeah, we appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, like I said, leave us a like and a subscribe. We always appreciate it. Thanks, guys.